everybody. It's Elizabeth and Joanne with World's Cup of Joe. Awaken your soul. You've got both of us here high-vibing with you, ready to bring you some balanced energy for your twin flame connection, for your twin flame journey. We're always here ready to help guide you and lead you in how to navigate the energy of this crazy, beautiful connection. So with that being said, here's the question I want to ask you today, Joanne, that we've gotten before in various different ways, in different forms, but from many, many people. So I want to sort of tackle this topic today. So when you go through separation with your twin flame, when they pull, do they hold on to resentment to you and how your addictive energy was felt by them?
No. There's no, grudges. This is the cool part. This is that one time in the entire cosmos where you get to have a connection that is of soul. Really, I want you all to feel that. There's nothing you can say, there's nothing you can do, there's nothing that you can act upon that can ever take away the love that you are as soul. And obviously, there is one caveat. It's your energy. If you're in the energy of mind, there is that repellent, but it isn't personal. It isn't like your person is remembering, oh my gosh, you did this to me and I'm not going to call you. That's why I'm going to ghost you. No, it's not like that. It's more of everything around them is so chaotic and busy that you're the last on their mind because of the addictive energy. It's like that. It's literally energy. And so maybe when you're in addictive energy, you do create things. But there's nothing I can do. There's no way that I can blow up my person so much to where he will never call me again. There's no way where I can do the most ridiculous things, right? Stalk or be so jealous. I can't even think of anything that I could ever do to my person to make them love me less. But it goes back around to same for them. I will never lose my love for them as well. And this is when unconditional love is purely at form. So there is no grudges. There is no hate. It doesn't matter what you've done. It is that wide erase board where you can draw on it all you want with addictive energy. And I can't speak to how they're going to interact with you when you're in addictive energy. When you're in addictive energy, they're just not going to be near you. They can't be near you. It's not even their fault. It's just energy. It's the way that God created the two polarities. You're in mind, you're pushing that energy to them when you're in mind about them, period. That's it. It's not personal. They don't hate you less. You didn't wear an ugly outfit. The things that mine worry about, if I only said the right things, if I only did the right things, if I only showed them or said this, and it always backtracks the past, and the mind always backtracks on what it could have, should have been, could have, should have, would have, are all mind. Or it tries to figure out the future of what you can do to try to keep them to be with you. So it's how can I keep them to be with me longer? If I only do this, this, and this, and they'll stay with me? Or how can I make it to where they stay with me so that I say the right things? And what we're trying to tell you is it doesn't have anything to do with what you're saying. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It matters on how you are being. This is an energetic connection, not like any other connection you've ever had. It isn't soulmates. It isn't friends and family. This isn't us talking about the past and trying to make it better. This is simply being the energy of soul, which is your twin flame. And when you're in the energy of soul, all those things you did, it kind of gets filtered away. It gets moved out of the way. It shakes out of the way. And when you're in soul, they're right back at exactly where you left off, as if nothing ever happened, ever. It's really this magical potion of soul. It's voila, here's your person again, and they're exactly where it was before separation. It was exactly as it was, as intense as it was. And this is why we'll have a lot of TF, beautiful souls, twin flame, awakened positive polarities that says, we were kind of back to where we were. We're talking again. We were on the phone for hours. They were confessing like how much they're so drawn to me, and they felt everything that we felt. They reciprocated everything that we were being when you're being. And then as soon as mine kicks in, they go back to pulling again. But that's all it is. It's energy. The energy of soul is what draws them in. And it doesn't matter what you did when you were in mind, literally. When you get back into soul, you'll pull that magnetic draw back to you through your alignment in soul. But you can't figure out the mind stuff, because if you try to figure it out, you're staying in the mind stuff and you're back to pushing again. It's simply energy. You're either drawing in your soul or you're pushing them away. You decide. You're drawing them in through soul, or you're distracting your connection with mind. What do you think, love?
So a lot of people will sort of say, like, my person was so horrible to me at separation, or my person totally devastated me, they totally broke me, whatever. And there's like this really harsh energy that is felt towards their person because of how they responded in separation. And I always want to say, just like you acted out of the ordinary because of your addictive energy, your person responded out of the ordinary because of the addictive energy. So holding on to resentment and judgment on your end is fruitless, because you're judging what happened that was merely a response to the energy. And like you said, Joanne, it's not personal. It wasn't personal that you got addicted and obsessed with your person. It was the energy that you were addicted to, just like it wasn't personal how they responded. And what is so beautiful about your twin, about your divine masculine, is that they never hold grudges. They are the epitome of unconditional love towards you. And I know that mine doesn't always see that, but I've been watching the energy at play. I've been watching the dynamic. I watched my person like a hawk in terms of how he responds to my energy. But what I want to say is, ultimately, he embodies unconditional love at all times to me. And what do I mean by that? He never expects anything from me. He never wants anything from me. He doesn't want me to change who I am. He doesn't ask anything of me. He loves me just for me. He is the first person in my life, and I'm talking about even kids, parents, siblings. He is the first person in my life who has loved me wholly and completely just for me, that doesn't judge me, that doesn't want anything, and that doesn't have any expectations. So when I say that unconditional love, sometimes it plays out a little bit wonky in the 3D, but when you look at it from, 10 feet above, you see that all they're giving you is unconditional love. And when you're in soul, and let me just emphasize that, when you're in soul, because when you're in addictive energy, just like you can't help that energy, they can't help the response. My person acted totally out of character when he was faced with my addictive energy, because the energy was so harsh and it impacted him so much. He didn't know what to do, so it just made his mind go crazy. My mind was going crazy, and it made his mind go crazy with all that energy that was pushed onto him. So do they hold resentment to you? No. Like, as soon as you're back in soul, they are soul. They are unconditional love. So they are always in the present moment with you. So anything that happened 5 minutes ago, that happened, 5 months ago, that happened 10 years ago, they don't ever bring it up. It is literally irrelevant to them. My person will never bring up the past, ever. It is always in this moment. But at the same time, he never brings up the future either. We don't talk future.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's just something that we don't talk about. We exist, our connection exists in the here and now. That's it. And that's what you really have to sort of transition the mind to sort of embrace being present with your person, because that's the only place they can meet you in. And that's so difficult for the mind, because mind is past and future. That's how it's interacted with every single other person in your entire life. And now you're shifting the dynamics for this one individual to merely be present. And so the mind doesn't understand what I can do anything in the past and they won't hold it against me. No, because it's unconditional love. But at that same token, you need to learn how to be aligned and be in the present moment so that they can stay and be in that present moment with you.
This is the first time in the entire cosmos you're ever going to be raw, like truly raw, authentically, genuinely yourself as soul. It's like your purest form of you, right? There's just pure soul. And you don't need anything. You don't need to wear the perfect outfit. You don't need makeup. It's like being bare and naked and raw, and it's okay. There's no judgment. There's no expectations. There's no preferences. It's being you, being raw as your authentic self. And yourself, your soul, is there with you because you are your purest form of you. You don't have to put on mind and put on a mask to be accepted as soul. You simply are being soul, and in that space, you get to be free. So this is the first time in your entire life you actually get to be yourself, your true self. Not the limited mind, not the limited body, right? Because let's get real, in the body form, how much weight can I lose? How much more beautiful can I get where I can make my face a certain way? I can make myself lighter. I can put on the tighter dress. For anyone else, that's great. But like for your person, you could wear nothing. You could wear a box. You could have a box over your head and you are beaming the energy that draws them in. You don't need to have a story, right? When they ask you, how are you? What are you doing? You don't have to have an elaborate, I'm reading this really great book so we can talk about it, right? This isn't one of those where you have to be a certain way. You're just being soul. And in that rawness, it's a raw, vulnerable state as soul, you get to experience your soul with the same present experience. So you will never be judged by your person, just like you will never judge your person, because that unconditional love is eternal. It's internally forever intertwined between the both of you. And this is why this connection is so dynamic, because it's the first time ever in your entire life where somebody really saw you for who you really are. Not the mask, not the mind, the emotions, the temporary things that are not us. We are not the mind. We are not our body. We're not our emotions. Those are all still projections that was given to us, right? When we sit with ourselves and we hear all these things, just repetition, over and over, from what our parents taught us, from what society taught us, from what is limiting and telling us we're not able, we're not capable, we can't. We sit with all of it and we're like, that's not true. That's not us. What the heck is that? And then you're in this consciousness, this energy of pure being, and you are reflecting pure essence of soul, and your twin flame can see that light, the true you, where nothing you wear or do or say matters, because it's your very essence, it's your energy that they're drawn to.
Joanne, you just reminded me or made me think of something. So when I was growing up, my parents, both of my parents, I love them dearly, but both of my parents were very critical, outspokenly critical about my weight and my appearance. And then I got married to my ex-husband, who would give me backhanded compliments like, you're bigger, he was from England, you're bigger than any of my friends in London would have ever dated, but I like your body the way it is. Like these, so like I took on these people that, you know, both my parents, my ex-husband, I heard their opinions of me, and I based my self-worth off of that and thought if I could only change my appearance, they would love me more. And I took those limiting beliefs into my connection with my twin flame when I met him. And I remember thinking like really critically of myself and my body image, because here are the people that I loved and trusted the most in my life, my parents, my ex-husband for, you know, a time period. And they didn't love me for who I am. How could this person who I didn't know was my twin flame at the time, I didn't know, but that I loved so intensely, how could he possibly love me the way I am at this state of my appearance, of my being? How could he possibly love me and match my love that I feel for him when I am not perfect, when I have all these flaws? And the more and more I went into my journey, the more and more I learned who I really am, which is soul, the more and more I saw the unconditional love. My person has never judged me the way anybody else has in my life. He has always, from the moment I met him, accepted my body for who it was. He's never told me to change anything. He's never made one negative derogatory term about my body or my appearance. It's always been this pure unconditional love. And my mind didn't know how to handle this at first. My mind kept thinking, well, if these people that I was raised by didn't love and accept me for who I am, how could this person who doesn't even really know me yet, who I'm just learning how to interact with, how could he possibly love me? And so my mind started thinking that he was like tricking me, right? Like, here's this perfect person, because we put them on the pedestal. Here's this perfect person. How could he possibly see me for anything that is not less than him? And now I'm looking back and it's like, he does. He is me, and everything in every way he's ever treated me has been with that same unconditional love that I felt towards him from the very moment I met him, that I will do anything for you. I love you. I love every mole on your body. I love every hair out of place. I love you for who you are. And that is the exact way he shows me love too. That is what the soul love is. They might not express it the way that the divine feminine expresses it, but they do so in their actions. They do so in the way they treat and respect us. Seriously, when we're in soul, the way they interact with us is with the utmost respect and love that nobody has ever treated us in our life before. And that is why it feels almost sometimes surreal at times. It's like, this can't possibly be real, because this person is treating me better than I've ever experienced in my life. So what's the catch here, right? Mind is always looking for the catch when there is no catch. It is purely your soul loving you and showing you the unconditional love that you are.
That's why so many people work on this ascension so deeply, because it's like, you guys, Joanna, Elizabeth, nobody's ever looked at me the same way. Nobody's ever treated me the same way. Nobody has ever allowed me to feel the same way as I did with my twin flame. And it's because it is the purest form of love. It's God's love in front of you. It's like raw. It's the raw with form of unconditional love, and it's right in front of you, being exactly what you are being. And all of those things that the mind is confused about is simply the beauty of this journey. Is like, you get to feel what nobody in this world, unless they're a twin flame who is physically have met them in this lifetime, can ever experience. You all know when I'm talking about your twin flame and the feeling of oneness and wholeness and acceptance, it's like through every part of your being, right? You can feel it. And as soon as you see, like just from eye contact, you don't even have to talk, just the mere eye contact of each other, just looking at each other's eyes, it's like you're understood, you're welcomed, you're loved, you're at peace, and you don't need anything or have to be a certain way to be that love that you are being just from being who you are, a soul. It is such a beautiful, dynamic connection. And this is why we say all those things that mind is clouding the beauty of this journey. Like it's missing the point of this journey. The point of this journey is to make you recognize and love who you really are. It's beyond the physical vessel of your person and the mind of your person. Like really, this is you loving you, showing you, your soul showing you who you are as soul and giving you an actual physical person to show you the love that you are. And that's why you'll never forget your twin flame. That's why you never stop thinking about your twin flame. That's why you're always ascending, because your twin flame is always constantly aligned with you energetically, internally, through this constant bond that's unbreakable, unshakable, and unmovable. And time and space doesn't exist. It's like always in the now. So those 3D paradigms of judgment and stories, it literally doesn't touch you. Doesn't touch you. It doesn't touch your person. And all of the 3D stuff that changes connections, right? From what people look like or what people say, those things don't stand a chance when it comes to this eternal bond between you and your soul. Nothing in the 3D can touch it because it's deeper than the 3D. It's beyond that, in the realms of the 5D connection is interconnected with the both of you. So much so that, like I said, just that mere eye contact is enough to know you're accepted. You're exactly where you need to be in every moment in soul. Be you as soul. Don't need anything from you because you are everything, and I'm in acceptance of what you are being. It's pure acceptance of God's love as soul. This journey is crazy, but my goodness, my love, when you can go past the mind and look at it the way that mind is looking, you get to experience it through the eyes and love of soul. And that love is eternal, it's forever, and it's unbreakable and untouchable. We love you, beautiful souls. Bye, love.
I love.